All right, we're talking about how can you tell if he's really into you? You know, when you're out on a date, how do you know? It can be confusing, and understanding the opposite sex, it's a major challenge.
So we need an expert.
Yes, we do.
Look, here's one now.
I thought that was you.
No.
Yeah, you should be the expert in this one, Joe.
Expert? How would I be the expert? But I do probably have some thoughts on the matter, so let's hear.
Marriage and family therapist Sarah Gilman is here to give us some clues on how to tell. Good morning.
Good morning.
Great to have you here with us this morning.
Thank you.
You know, they say men are from Mars, women are from Venus, and sometimes we get our messages crossed, our sign language, our body language crossed. What are some of the clues that you need to look for on that date to figure it all out?
Well, it's really about listening to men, not listening necessarily to what we think they're trying to say. And in interviewing a lot of men, the research and my own interviews concluded, listening to the horse's mouth, is that they're going to prioritize time with you. There are a lot of excuses that happen. Oh, I'm too busy, I've got this going on, that going on. But ultimately, if a man wants to be with you, he will make the time.
So listening, so being available for the date, being accessible, that sort of thing.
Yeah, and he'll initiate it. Now, if he calls you after a date and he's
That
had
counts.
That counts.
Put one check in the initiation column. Go ahead.
Then you know he's getting interested, that he wants to spend more time, and that he's letting you know that he really had a good time.
Okay, so that's another sign that he is hooked. We also have another one you talk about, becoming very helpful. How so?
Well, you know, guys love to fix things and to be helpful and to feel like they have a purpose in your life. So whether it's at the beginning or after a few months, if they are offering to fix something at the house or to help you run an errand or to pick up something for you, then you know he's heading in the right direction.
Okay, and I guess the more interested he is, the more likely he is to introduce you to mom and dad.
Family, friends, and here's another one, is business functions. If he's inviting you to business functions, he wants you to be present in his whole life, family, friends, and business. The other clue is if he's willing to come to your business functions. So he's willing to be out there and be present in your business world.
Okay, and then finally, another sign that he's hooked, he talks about future plans. So if you're on the books for a month away, it looks like it's going to be good.
Right, if there's another date coming or he has ideas.
Okay, there are future plans, like future dates, then there's future plans. So go out a couple times and he starts thinking, okay, great, we can have 2 kids, and let's move to the farm, and that may be a little too much.
Oh, yeah, that would scare me a little.
Well, it may be too much planning after a few dates, because then he's more hooked on being in relationship, not necessarily getting to know you. So we're talking about segments of time. Is it after a few dates? Or how about a few months? You've been going out and you really haven't met anyone.
You would be the worst person to go out on a date with, because
the
whole time you'd be sitting there
No,
thinking,
I don't.
Okay, you have to have, so what do you do for a living? I own my own business. You have to come up, because if you were to say, I'm a relationship therapist, let's go out to dinner.
It'd freak you out.
I would be freaked out.
Yeah.
I would
Thank you
constantly
for putting
feel
on
as though
local TV that I'd be the worst person to go on a date with.
I don't mean it like that. I meant it as a compliment. Yeah, it was a good way.
Yeah.
In a roundabout way. Yeah, he did mean it as a compliment. It just came about in a roundabout.
You should have heard what Sandra said.
No. Let's talk about signs
like
that he is not into you.
Okay.
Some of the telltale signs. And first you talk about, well, this is an easy one. He doesn't call you. Doesn't call you very often.
Right. You know, women, we tend to make a mistake, and that is if we don't hear, we get impatient, and we need to know, and so we make the next phone call. But we really need to wait, because you want to know that the biologic pursuer, that's his biology, that he's going to come to you. And so we need to wait and let him call, let him make the next date.
So under no circumstances should a woman call after the first date?
Yeah, I would make a 100% statement. But I think by nature, we need to look, and men really want to pursue. They don't want to be
You think that's true, Joe?
Well, here, I think to a certain extent, but let's say you go out on a date, it's really nice, and the next day he sends you flowers, just, you know, a little bouquet of flowers at work.
That's very nice, yes.
Then if I was her, I wouldn't wait to call. I'd make the next call. That's kind of like him
but
saying,
he's already given you a big clue. Flowers is like
That's
the
a
call
huge clue.
or the email that says, hey, I had a really great time.
Yeah.
And
Right. But say you have a date and 3 nights go by and you don't hear from him.
Then what do you do?
Well, you know, it's funny. The men interviewed talked about the 72 hours and said to the ladies, if you haven't heard from me in 3 days, I'm probably not that interested.
Really?
Now, it doesn't mean he can't be reeled back in, but And then if you're going on a week, another one that came up consistently with men is if they're not planning anything with you on the weekend, especially Sunday. Okay?
Sunday?
Yeah.
Family day.
Prioritize your time to be with the one you want to be with.
Then that's a clue that he's not so
into you.
Interesting. There's some other things. Only says romantic things when he's drunk.
Well, okay, so after a few drinks, when he's amorous and he hasn't been for 3 months,
right?
Yes, you guys go, that's what I do. I'm giving out my tips.
Oh, my God.
We're getting a lot of support in the male audience here today. And then you don't hear those things in between the nights of fun and partying. And so that's a clue that it doesn't count.
What about all the electronics, the texting, the emailing, MySpacing, whatever people are, there are so many new ways to communicate that the old waiting for a phone call, that's
well, I think we
do
need to open our eyes and look at all the different ways that we all communicate now. However, we text and email everybody, but a written note or a phone call is actually more personal and more of a sign that I'm really interested in you. So think of one of your best
Carries
friends.
more weight.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
We're going to have more of Sarah Gilman's tips on the KUSI website.
Sarah, I feel terrible. I said I didn't mean you would be the worst person on date. What I meant was it would be the trickiest person because you would be able to read right through the person.
No, I clock out, really.
You never clock out when you...
You're going to have to come back and visit us. Joe will make it up to you next time.
Great.
We promise.
I feel terrible now.
He didn't mean that at all.
I didn't mean it that
No,
way.
of course
See how long
he didn't.
he feels terrible. Thank you.
All right, thank you.